Hey guys, it's Tuna here, and today I'm going to tell you all about my opinions and experience with my Cricut Explorer Air 2. I've noticed that a lot of you are very interested in hearing about what I have to say about this product, so this video is just going to be explaining how I feel about it. If you are looking for a tutorial, this is not the video for you. I highly recommend you go check out KATNIPP Illustrations video on making sticker sheets for the Cricut, and just in general searching for tutorials on YouTube. There are a bunch of really good ones. So I've actually had this Cricut I think since about the summer. I bought it as a tool to use. I have a monthly sticker club and I'm producing in the range of 100 stickers every single month in order to distribute to the people in my sticker club. And I thought that the Cricut would be an interesting way to speed up the process and save a little bit of money in that time. Now, what I was using before considering getting the Cricut was ordering stickers online from a manufacturer, having them pre-cut, arrive, made of vinyl, totally ready to go and ship to my patrons. When I bought this, it was sort of as a test to see if I could replace the shipping and ordering system. But I very quickly realized that this is not the tool for me. Now, that's not saying that it's not a good tool, or it's not able to produce stickers, or it's not, you know, it does what it's supposed to do. It just doesn't do it in a way that I like. So that being said, I'm gonna take you through my pros and cons of Cricut. So first off, the best pro is that obviously you're able to make sticker sheets at home. I feel that most people are aware that you can make stickers at home and cut them out yourself, which can be a very time-consuming process. When I first started my sticker club, that was what I was doing. I had less than, I think it was like 50. Once I hit 50 people, I decided to automate the process and order from manufacturers online. But up until that point, I was hand cutting out stickers, and it would take upwards of multiple hours, hand cramps out the wazoo, just to get that done. But of course it could be done. Now with the Cricut, you can make sticker sheets, which you can't do at home. And I'm just gonna get my biggest con out of the way right now and let you guys know that it is almost impossible, read my lips, almost impossible to align the stickers correctly when you're cutting them out. So when you're cutting out stickers by hand, because you are the one in control with the scissors, you're able to get an even and nice border around the entire sticker. However, when you're leaving the robot to do it for you, you can run into issues where the alignment is off, and even if it's off by like half a millimeter, you're still gonna see that issue coming out in the cut lines, and there's not a lot you can do about it unless you want to be manually kind of like evening them out afterwards. And of course, when you're doing a sticker sheet, you don't even have the option to even them out. So if you are somebody who's looking for perfect cuts and perfect alignment, first of all, you're not going to get it with this product, and as far as I know, you're not going to get it with other products like the Silhouette. And that being said, I am aware that the Cricut is not specifically designed for cutting out stickers and making stickers. If you are a perfectionist about the way that your products look, this is, like I am, this is not going to be the product for you necessarily. Going into pros, one of the things that I do like about the Cricut is it is fairly easy to set up and get going. I didn't have to go through an enormous process of like downloading a ton of stuff, like drivers, whatever. It all happened pretty quickly, and let's show off the opening a little bit for you here. Ooh. I like that part. It is very like plug and play. You basically just go in and then you use their online design space to set up your files, and then you load in your mat with your printed stickers stuck to the mat, and then you just press go and it all just sort of happens. So I do appreciate that it's not an exceedingly complicated machine. It's definitely designed for hobbyists or people who are just looking to cut stuff, I guess. I don't know. So to get into that a little bit more, the way that the Cricut works is you can print and cut, or you can just cut, and the print and cut is usually what you're gonna be using for stickers. How the print and cut works is you load it into the design space, which a little bit of a con is, first of all, the design space is not great, and second of all, it is a online service. They just released a kind of like app that you download, but when you open up the app, you're still connecting to their online servers and stuff, so it's not an offline system, though it seems like you might be able to do it offline now. But the bottom line is that I don't really like that system for preparing my files and cutting them. I really wish there was something a little bit more just desktop that I could use. And the other thing to note is when you're using the print and cut setting, you are actually not able to use the entire 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. I didn't exactly prepare something to actually compare this, but like if this is my sheet of paper, this is the label paper that I bought specifically to use with the Cricut, you get kind of like this box that's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's like this. It's like a 6 by 9 area on the 8.5 by 11 paper where the calibration line prints, and you can't use the sticker sheet outside of that, so you end up with a really large amount of waste for every piece of paper. And where I get my label paper, I bought a pack of 250 and it was somewhere in the neighborhood of $250, like Canadian, converted from American, with shipping. And so if I'm paying $1 for each sheet of paper, I do feel like I want to get the most out of the space on the page, but I'm having to waste a bunch of space, which I don't really like. Okay, so I've complained about the design space and I've complained about the space on the paper. The next thing I want to complain about is what originally actually kind of turned me off this in particular, because when I got it, I was excited. I didn't work with it right away because I was really busy and I kind of bought it like on impulse, and then a few days later when I finally sat down to do it, I realized that while it is plug and play and it's pretty easy to use, there is actually a very long process of calibration that's required in order to try and get the most accurate cuts you can. So this process not only requires you to be printing and cutting some like demo sheets that kind of like come with the program. It's like a calibration thing integrated into the program. You also need to learn the depths. So there's kind of like this dial here, and it allows you a bunch of different depths, cutting depths, that are labeled with like this paper and vinyl and iron-on and stuff like that, but I'm not using paper or vinyl or iron-on. What I'm using is kind of, it's kind of like a vinyl sticker paper, right? Which is probably what a lot of people are going to be using. And even though the supplier did have a recommendation for the Cricut specifically of like certain depths to use, I still didn't find that was entirely accurate, and I had to do a lot of troubleshooting to figure out exactly how deep I needed to be cutting with this particular paper. But then with like other things too. Bottom line is what ended up happening is the Cricut comes with a cutting mat. Originally, I think it was blue, the one that I got. I don't know, like the different colors are like different depths or like different weights. So I'm not sure exactly which one that one was, but what happened is I cut too deep into the cutting mat somehow, and the process of removing the stickers or the paper or whatever you're cutting from the cutting mat is you're supposed to like fold. Just one second, I will show you. Okay, so here is the cutting mat. This currently has like a piece of plastic to keep the sticky. It has like a sticky side that you stick stuff to. But you're supposed to like, imagine that the sheet here, the plastic sheet is your sticker. You're like supposed to bend this part, you can't really see, you're supposed to bend this part like way back and kind of like keep the plastic straight while bending the mat away from the sticker. Hopefully that makes sense. But that is the way that you're supposed to peel it away. And what ended up happening was because the cuts were so deep that I had done in my calibration, like accidentally, it had actually cut the mat itself, and the mat broke in half along those cut lines. That was really annoying. I was really, really, really unhappy because that was in the course of the first 2 times that I used the product. And nothing is more frustrating than essentially breaking your product right after you get it. That being said, I do understand that that was kind of like a user error, but if you do go onto the Cricut site and go through some of their like literature and videos to try and explain how to use the product, I wasn't really running into a lot of super useful information. Frankly, YouTube gave me better tutorials and instruction on how to use and whatever, but nothing, it never came up that you could cut deep enough to destroy your cutting mat the second time that you used it. So anyway, that's just like, I just want to be frank about my experience. And what ended up happening was I sent a message to their customer service people and was like, hey, like this happened. Like, I was nice about it, and they ended up offering to send me some new ones, which I really appreciated. And the ones I've received, as you can see now, are green. And one of the other issues I was having with the blue mat, which was the default one that came with the Cricut, is it was very, very, very sticky. And I was having a lot of difficulty peeling my stickers off of it without warping the sticker paper or otherwise damaging them. But these green ones are less sticky than those ones were, so it's actually much better. And so I'm starting to feel like maybe there's some room in my life for the Cricut. Maybe we can have a bit of a relationship here. But that's not the bottom line. I still have more to say. The next thing that we're going to talk about is the price. So I think that the, not misconception, but that the conception, is that even like how you say that? The idea of the Cricut is to save money. because ordering stickers online can get really expensive. You can be looking at unit costs of $1 or more based on how big you want your stickers to be, and if you're not mass producing, that can get even more expensive. So the Cricut is a nice option for being able to do low run print quantities. And it's my opinion, it's just my opinion, that this is a good product for low run print quantities only because of how time consuming the process of production actually is. Now, I don't make stickers full time. I'm not running a shop, I'm running a sticker club. And so my process is that at the end of the month, I'll put together all my packages. I have 100 packages to put together. Because I get my stickers made externally, I will have them printed, good to go. I slip them in, I write a note. The whole thing takes me a day, but if I was to integrate the printing and the cutting, I could not imagine how much time that would add, because let me break this down for you. Here's our sheet of paper. We can get a 6x9 working space on the sheet of paper. That amounts to 2 of my 4x6 sticker sheets, or maybe 6 3x3 stickers-ish. Okay? If I have 100 people and I have to print out, I mean, that's 15-ish, I don't know, I'm not gonna do the math exactly, but that's like 15 to 50 pieces of paper individually cut. The time that it takes to manually print each one, to stick it on the mat in the correct spot, to load it in, and then to have the Cricut do the cutting, it is very time consuming. So in that my time is worth money to me, to most people I would assume, I feel that is the first sort of strike against the idea that the Cricut is going to save you money, because you have to invest a lot of time, especially if you're making in bulk. So if I was to say you are making under 100 and over what would be like an amount that you could cut by hand comfortably, then maybe that's kind of like the sweet spot for actually producing stickers with the Cricut. The other note on cost is the machine itself is not cheap by any means. I think it was like 250 or 350 Canadian dollars, somewhere in that range, I don't quite remember, which is a big investment. I'd say if you're a small business or a small company and you're looking to start an online store, like, I don't really feel that the Cricut like falls into the beginner category. I think if you're at an intermediary stage where you're, like I said, making a certain amount of product, or maybe making product to order or something like that, and you want to keep a lot of stock, then there's kind of like room for that. But yeah, it's not a cheap thing. And then the second thing on top of that is, not only do you need the Cricut, you need a good printer to print your designs. And the printer that I have, it's like an Epson ET 2750 or 2450 or something. It's one of those EcoTank ones, and I actually love it. I'll post in the description box the exact name of it, because I'm blanking right now. But it is amazing because you don't have to deal with refilling ink at the extraordinary frequency with which you usually do for inkjet cartridge printers. But the thing is that those are also an investment on their own right, a much better investment in my opinion. I think it was $250 for that printer. But that being said, now we're up to what, 500, 600 Canadian dollars just in order to make stickers with your Cricut. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not the last cost incurred. So the last thing you have to take into account is your sticker paper. And as I mentioned already, I'm paying $1 a sheet for this sticker paper. And this is like, it's like a plastic pseudo vinyl sticker paper. It's thinner than the stuff that I usually get from my producers online, but it is nice, it's high quality, it's durable, and it is a worthwhile investment. I'll also leave a link below to where I get my sticker paper, because I found a lot of people were asking about that as well. So when you start adding all these costs together, it's kind of hard to argue that you're really gonna save money in the long run with the Cricut, I think. You're kind of paying for the convenience of being able to make things on demand and not be having to make purchases in bulk up front. I've done the math before, and it doesn't really save me money to use the Cricut versus the suppliers that I use, which is kind of a bummer because I sort of feel like I wasted money on the Cricut, but it is nice to have on hand if I do need to make just like a few off Atelier things. And I do feel that in the future, testing out new product with the Cricut and doing it on a case-by-case basis rather than having to order in bulk, or like having to restock if you're like doing a convention or something and like Saturday you sell out of a sticker sheet, it's really awesome that you can come home and then just make more copies of it. All right, I feel like this has been a little bit all over the place. I hope that the pros and cons have been like you understanding what I'm saying, and like you're you're hearing me, you know, you're really hearing what I'm saying. If you haven't picked up on it yet, I don't love this thing. I don't hate this thing. I think that this thing has room. I think it's a good tool, but unfortunately it did not meet the standards. It wasn't what I was expecting, which is kind of why I'm so disappointed with it. And to end things off, I'm just gonna answer the question that I got a lot. So like I posted this on Instagram and people were like DMing me a lot about it, which is why I've made this video. And the biggest question that people had is this a worthwhile investment? I feel like I've gone over that a little bit. I've run some of the numbers. I've armed you guys with the information that you need in order to make an informed decision. If I had to give you a yes or no answer, I would probably say that it is not a worthwhile investment. But depending on the needs of your business and of your sticker preferences, like maybe it is for you. If you have the chance to try the Cricut out, like if you know somebody who has one, or if like, I don't know, a library has one, if that's a thing, because it should be, because that'd be cool, then I highly recommend going and giving it a try so you can get a sense for the process of using the machine and how long it takes and stuff like that. Obviously, not everyone's going to be able to do that, so I hope that my explanation has given you at least some insight into my experiences with it. Personally, I am a very impatient person. I'm like, I'm going to spend money in order to save myself time and stress because I do not like troubleshooting when technology is not working, but not everyone is like that. Yeah, I think that's all I really have to say on the Cricut. Thank you so much for watching. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see more of my art and more of when my videos are going online. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye!